Hey, beautiful mama. Welcome to the Radiant Mom Rising podcast, where we believe you were never meant to just survive. You were born to shine. I'm your host, Mary Dibble, life coach, mom of three, and your biggest cheerleader in creating a life and business you love. Each week, we dive into real conversations about mindset, motherhood, healing, and purpose, helping you break free from overwhelm, rediscover your worth, and rise into the confident, radiant woman you were meant to be. Because when moms rise, the world rises with us. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get ready to rise together. Hello and welcome back. I'm here with Linda Hunt today. Linda, thank you so much for joining us. How's your week going so far?
My week is going great. As you know, it's a Friday, so we're heading into a weekend. So yeah, no, it's been a good week. I had a couple of amazing things happen, which is uh, I got invited to start have a column in an
Ooh,
industry specific newsletter, which is super exciting. Just the fact that they invited me. And as we were talking in the green room, it's those small steps, right, that we keep
yes.
moving forward. And it's been something that I've wanted for a while, and it's presented itself. So
And
yeah,
that's
super
what it's
exciting.
all about. Oh my God, I'm excited for you. I can't wait to learn more about that. And by the time this episode even releases, I mean, who knows where you could be on that journey. We'll have to connect again and see
Yes.
how that's going for you and see what we can share about it. But let's get started. And why don't you introduce yourself to the audience and tell
Sure.
us a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so my name, so obviously I'm Linda Hunt, right? And my company, I started my company many moons ago at late 90s, and it's called Some Solutions.
Oh,
And when I started my company, I am a corporate dropout. I was single and at the time, and I was working all of the time. And if anyone's read the book The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber, which is a great book on systems. So whether you have a business or not, I do recommend that book. I had what he calls an entrepreneurial seizure, and I just left. I left corporate because I did not have the home life balance. And I remember so many people at the time. I wasn't married. I don't even think there was a prospect on the horizon at that point. Which was completely fine, but everyone would tell me I was crazy, right? Like how could you
mm-hmm.
do that? And it was the best thing I did because I think when you become an entrepreneur and a mom, I did eventually become a mom to two wonderful bonus children. You meet yourself, right? You meet yourself and you find out what you're made of. And as women, we take on a lot of invisible work that doesn't always get recognized. And we get overwhelmed, right? And what I learned through my business, and we'll get into in this conversation, is that you need structure, you need scaffolding, you need those support systems, right? And I made so many mistakes in my business. I underpriced myself. I over delivered. It was all around self-worth, right? And I think as women, if that shows up in one area of your life, like I grew up being a people pleaser, right? I
Yes.
didn't want to rock the boat. Well, that translated into my relationships, that translated into my business. It even translated early on when I became a bonus mom into
Yeah.
that relationship, right?
Yeah.
So the patterns follow you. And what
Mhm.
I learned through my business is that if I created a structure, I'm going to call it a structure, but it's really a system, right, to support me, it doesn't mean I'm going to immediately feel comfortable and I'm going to be super confident. But what I was able to do was rely on the process.
Yeah.
So
Love
the and I mean, I am like the process queen. It's like I have processes for the house, I have process right, I have
that.
processes for my business, and
Mhm.
what I do want to make sure I share with you guys, it's about
Yes.
dinner.
Oh, yeah, share it, please.
Yeah.
Oh.
So how many women, when you hear what's for dinner, how much does that stress you out? Like, it stresses me out to this day. What I do is modular cooking. Okay, so modular cooking is I pick two proteins, and then I roast a pan of potatoes, I roast a pan of vegetables, but I don't cook the vegetables I don't roast them all the way through. And what I do is, so say on a Monday, I make some kind of lemon garlic chicken, right? And I roast my vegetables. I take the extra out before they're completely done. And then I have a salad, some kind of salad, whether it's pasta salad, green, whatever, it doesn't matter. I now have a meal. And then the next night, all I'm doing, then I take the leftover chicken and I might turn it into some kind of bowl, or I might turn it into a taco, and I'm assembling. So I'm really only cooking 2 nights a week, and I'm assembling the other nights, 4 nights a week. So I offer that, ladies. It has transformed my life.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, meal planning is a big thing that people talk about. And I'm all about being prepared. Like I'm the kind of mom, and it's so funny because I had a conversation with somebody who um kind of opened my eyes a little bit differently to this because I've always been that person who's like I'll pick out their clothes the night before, like so we're prepared in the mornings because I just
Sure.
don't like that feeling of being like scrubbling, like what am I gonna put them on and things like that. So I just like to be organized, in that sense. So
Agreed.
it's like there's a smooth morning. I was actually so proud of my kids this morning because they actually got up super early because today's like their field day at school and they're all excited or whatever, but they got up and got themselves ready. And well, of course, if the husband was helping too of getting them ready. But just, I love mornings like that. But it's just, I like the organized, like where I don't have to feel like I have to wake up already sleepy and trying to overthink things. It's like
Right.
I got it all prepared the night before, so now we're just getting it done and showing up and getting ready. I enjoy that. So I love hearing stuff like that. I'm very blessed. My husband is the cook in the family. So
Oh, you're lucky.
yes, he does all the grocery shopping and he does the
Oh my
cooking.
God.
Yeah, so I am very blessed because that was one of the things I always manifested because I do not like I want what's crazy is like, hey, it's not that I don't like cooking. I actually enjoy cooking my family's food. Like my family
Understood.
comes from Trinidad and they make a lot of curry and that's been my goal is like I want to pass that on to I want to keep that going in the family. I love it. It's special. You
Yeah,
can't find it in restaurants. Like it's like so unique the way they
you're
cook
right.
their curry and stuff like that. I mean, I'm like they need to start a restaurant. But yeah, things like that I don't mind to continue on, but overall like whew, girl, like I said, I think today's world is just so different. I'm so grateful for it because, we're not just stay-at-home moms always. Like some of us are working moms, or even like I'm a working mom who's also having a business. And it's an entrepreneur. So I'm doing all the things, and it's a blessing to be able to utilize support. Like you say,
Yeah,
getting support systems in place is crucial
right.
to you not getting burnt out, to you not overstretching yourself, to you not giving up. Because Lord knows if I had to take that on too, on top of cleaning the house, taking care of the dogs, the kids, the
Mhm.
businesses and everything, I'm like, uh-uh.
No, you're 100%. And I actually know very few women today who aren't working, right? Who aren't working. And then you're trying to manage the children going to all of their sports and all of that stuff. And
Yes.
if you're a mom of three, my niece is a mom of three, and I
Yeah.
see how she's, trying to get everyone having special attention, and not special
Yes.
attention, but do the
No.
thing that they shine at, right? And
Yeah.
getting them there and stuff like that. But what I want to point out, which I think is important, and I think is women, and maybe it was just me, but I used to think like, okay, when I accomplish X, then I can have help.
Oh, yeah.
It
Yeah.
was a but, right? As
Yeah.
opposed to an and. And what I want to offer is you can start to create scaffolding in very small ways,
I love
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah, very small ways, because it does help it frees up. We might still be physically exhausted, but it frees up the
Yeah.
mental space. It frees up the
Yeah.
energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think people take that for granted, our mental state.
Oh,
And it's like that's so crucial. And because that's where all the downloads come from. That's where all the creation comes from. That's
yes.
where what I think what's meant for us shows up. And yet we constantly cloud ourselves with busyness
Yes.
in our minds. And we don't
Yes.
think about the power of slowing down and allowing ourselves to free that and listen and to get in tuned to what is
Right.
meant for us. And it's hard. I mean, I remember when I first started like was introduced to meditation, I was like, that's not, I can't do that because my mind just doesn't know how to shut up. I have ADD. Like it's always like boom, boom, boom. But I love the woman who helped me to like not look at it that way, not shame myself because she's like, there's no like because she struggled with the same thing too in the beginning, and then she was taught that it's about having that time for yourself to hear
Yes.
yourself, to
To
allow
hear
that,
yourself.
yes, to like sit with yourself, to learn more about yourself, and
Mhm.
and as you practice it too, it gets easier and easier
to, gently bring your mind back if you have a certain guided meditation you're working on, or just allowing yourself to kind of just love on yourself in that
Yeah,
moment and allow yourself a learning process, I would say,
yeah,
mostly of really like seeing how your mind is even going.
right.
That was an eye opener for me.
Yeah, and I loved that your mentor, whoever taught you this, adapted it for you
Yeah.
because I'm like you. I'm not a but walking for me is meditation.
Oh,
But
yes.
to sit and meditate for long periods of time, that's not how my
Mm-mm.
downloads come in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, don't shame yourself because
Mhm.
everyone doesn't fit into that same mold
Yeah.
on how things work.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
but you finding what does help you to get to that place is so
Yeah.
important, and especially when it comes to the mental, because a lot of people feel like they're not being productive
Yes.
in that, but I think that's the most
Oh,
productive we
it's
can
the
be,
most, yes.
right?
Well, right. But the world,
Yeah.
we're taught that output is recognition, right? You
Hmm.
get recognized for output. But I think as women, we are also taught to, and I mean, obviously I'm a different generation than you, so maybe it's a little bit more predominant in my generation, but I hear it from, gals your age as well, that we absorb, right?
Yeah.
We're scanning the room and we're making sure everyone's taken care of
Mm.
and everyone's got what they need.
Yeah.
And part of my personal story is I'm a caretaker. I have 3 people in my life that I take care of, and I'm not ready to talk more about that because it's part of it's a wound, part of it's not, right?
Okay.
So you don't ever want to share from the wound, you want to share from the scar. And the part that I can share is that the gift out of this has been learning to take care of myself
Oof.
because I was not a bonus mom until I was in my 40s.
Oh,
And but up until that point I already had some caregiving responsibility then, and it's increased in recent years. But um I was already not taking care of myself, and then I become a wife and a mother, right?
yeah.
And
Wow.
it compounded. So yeah, it was it's a journey, and the gift is really because your body will take you out.
Oh, yeah.
Your body will take you you
Got that right.
and because that's when you're not paying attention, right? You
Hmm.
get those subtle signals, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes let's just say your back is bothering you.
Yeah.
Ask your body why. Ask your body what's going on. Did I, and sometimes you may have just, like, I don't know, picked the baby up wrong and you twisted your back. But other times
Yes.
it's a perpetual thing, and it's your body giving you that signal, because there is a book called The Body Keeps Score,
Oh,
and all emotional trauma lives in our body, right? But one of the things I think taking care of yourself does, especially for women, is we learn how to hold capacity without self-abandoning. And that was I was
good.
self-abandoning. And I
Yeah.
think as women, we don't real, it's starting to be called that. And I think we don't recognize it.
Mm-mm. I know I didn't for the longest
Yeah,
time until
right,
someone helped me to see that. Yeah,
right,
it's very
right.
powerful, right? To
Yeah,
finally recognize it, but also do something about it. I think that's the sad part. Is like when you, it's like so many of us is we're hearing these things, we're realizing it, but who's will the when it comes to actually taking the action
yeah,
to do something about it, that's a whole nother level
right,
of growth that I'm so proud to be part of for myself and for those who I get to work with and
yeah,
help guide them through that, because there's just nothing more empowering for me and just rewarding than to see a mom like
right,
reconnect with herself, her vision, and
right.
really like go after it, like go after the
Yeah,
things that
go after it.
she
Do it.
wants, and I
Yeah.
love energizing people for that, because I
Yep.
that's one of the best, like the best feedback I ever got from a coaching call is when like they get off the call with me, and then later on I'm getting an email like, man, thank you so much, you energized me, you got me, like I did this and that after our call. Like I'm like, wow, like talk about immediate like action, like
Yeah.
that's what it's about, and I love it. And yeah.
You gave them the gift of clarity.
Yeah,
You
I
gave
love
them the
that.
gift of clarity. And when we're clear,
Yeah,
right, then we can see the next step.
exactly.
We can see the next step. And it's like headlights. And I know some of your community are business owners, but this applies whether you have a household you're running and
Hmm.
family or a business. most problems are systemic. They're not, they're, you know, they end up symptomatically showing up as in our personal lives as relationship issues.
Yeah.
Right. But in our business, it could show up as a cash flow issue. 99.9% of the time, because I've been doing this a long time, I've been working with entrepreneurs, is most of those problems are systemic. And if you can create a process that alleviates the pressure, right, and follow the process, and a lot of people think about processes as boundaries, and they don't like that, right? Like a budget. People don't like to follow a budget. I don't follow a budget. I'm a trained accountant. I don't follow a budget, but I'm clear on how I spend my money, meaning I'm not, I'm not defaulting, and I'm not saying that I always did this, but I'm not defaulting to an emotional purchase because I had a fight over here, right? I'm not saying I didn't do that in the past,
Yeah.
right? But the thing is, if you can create, I call them containers, call them structures. If you can put a structure around a process that's going to make your nervous system not be hyper vigilant, that's helpful. Like in the green room, you and I were talking about something about how like to be organized with the children. So you pick out their clothes the night before. I love that because that helps them get prepared. So not only are you doing it for yourself, but you're also demonstrating a process for your children to think ahead without even realizing it, right? And it's those little things, right? But how much space did that give you back this morning?
Oh yeah, so much space. So much space. You're right. Because like I said, I can get up, get dressed, and they're already ready at the time and we have our little routines. And like I said, I get it. I'm very flexible and I understand that routines are like sometimes you can sway away from that at times. And there's nothing wrong with that. 'Cause it teaches even your children that life is unpredictable. You got to kind of navigate things sometimes or whatever. It may look a little different, but at the same time, we can have something to come back to.
Exactly.
This is a school night. This is what we do. This is the time we go brush our teeth. This is the time we do our nightly affirmations or whatever it is that we're doing for the night. And I love it. And it's good for them. And kids don't even realize how much they crave the structure. But so it's important as parents. And like you say, it helps us too, because then we're not like all over the place. Like, oh crap, I can't find matching socks or matching shoes and this and that. Like I cannot, for me there's no point in having myself stressed out first thing in the morning like that. Cause I'm already not really, I'm going to shift that because I'm trying to work to change my language around mornings because I'm starting to value and see the value in starting your mornings off and setting the intentions for the day. So I've always been that person who's like, I'm not a morning person. Don't get me wrong. I've been that way for a long time, but I'm really working to even shift my language around that because I see how powerful especially as an entrepreneur, I see, and I've heard it too many times to ignore it and realize like the power of starting your mornings off on the right foot and setting your intentions for the days. And I'm telling you, I see it because if I have a morning where I am like stressed out from the beginning, I see how that bleeds into my day, no matter how hard I try. It does bleed throughout my day. But if I have a morning where I give myself the time to like have my coffee, to have my shower, to have my time to do my exercise, whatever it is that I have for that day, and really set that, man, I feel like the productivity comes out throughout that day, the way I feel throughout my day, like that, it's rewarding. So I kind of, anyway, again, I hear that for moms who struggle with that, find something for yourself and find a way to organize it to where like you're not so like chaotic the next day. Cause we all know how our kids can be sometimes. I'm very blessed that I don't have kids who are too bad. They have their, I think I would say like my daughter at some point, she will drag. That's the one thing about her. Sometimes she's got those mornings where she just wants to drag. And I'm like, all right, girl, come on. We got to get.
No. And it's, so that's dealing with the personalities. But what I'm hearing, this is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that you go back and you rely on your process, but you're flexible with that process. And that's the key. They're not rigid. Life is fluid. And if we allow fluidity into our support systems, they will support us. And every support system does not look the same for every single person. It does not.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very, I do not like rules. Yet I'm an accountant. Which
Yeah.
there's compliance deadlines and no, now mind you, I'm not in that part of the world anymore. Like,
Yeah.
even though my business does offer that service, I personally don't do it, but it's more about the fluidity of getting there. And what I've empowered my team to do is, I've structured, because accounting has deadlines, right?
Yes.
So there's always something due sometime. So
Mhm.
I've created a very proactive schedule for them, and I get them thinking about the week, the month, the quarter. Okay. Because that that helps them with accounting. So I'm like, all right, think about what's due this week or what's due next week. And if you have room, schedule it in. I took that principle. At first I only thought that principle applied to, my accounting team.
Mhm.
But then I said to my assistant, I said, because we were basically, she was brand new with me and we were defining her role and all the other stuff. And then I got her to the point where I'm like, well, I want you to get to the point where you're able to look at what you have to do and fit it in whatever. And
I
just
love
this
that.
week on our weekly call, she's like, I had some time and I got ahead of schedule. And I
That
was like,
feels good.
fantastic, because
Yeah.
I don't want to micromanage you. I want to
Yeah.
empower you to, show up and do what you need to do. Cause she's a busy mom.
Yeah.
She's a mom of three,
Oh.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what I want for people. I want
Yes.
for people to, I call it sovereignty, right? It's like, figure
Yes.
out what you need
Sovereignty.
as a mom. And it could be you
Yes.
need that latte, or you need to
Mhm.
go, or you need that 5 minutes in the bathroom where,
Mm.
no one's
Girl.
talking to you, right?
Yes, I mean, and it's so funny because I know for so many moms who have toddlers or even dogs will
Yeah.
understand. Like, I cannot go to the bathroom half the time by myself. If the kids aren't coming in, the dog's coming in and sitting there watching me. I'm like, come on, give me a moment. I remember my son, my firstborn, when he was a toddler. If I closed the door, he would sit there outside and put his
But
head
it's
down. Yeah, but it's but you still try to take what you can take, even if you just close it and you're like, give mommy
absolutely.
some privacy. I'm really working on that with them. Like, mommy needs some privacy. Let her have some privacy. Because same for them. When you go to the bathroom, you want your privacy. So, but yes.
I love it.
Sorry, I
I
just had
love
to
it.
share that
I love it.
because you're right though. It's so we take those little moments for granted,
Yeah.
and how powerful that resets us, and
Yeah.
that helps us to just get back to it in a better way and a
Yes.
more like you say, opening up the capacity for what's
Opening up the
next.
capacity.
That's
Yes.
what I'm learning myself and I'm working on all the time. And I guess I always tell people it's a daily practice. Like,
Oh,
never,
absolutely.
don't beat it's me, us moms. And you hear that a lot too. More moms are talking about grace and how we need to give ourselves grace. And it's so powerful because, yeah, we're humans. We're not going to always get it right. We're not going to always have that right, good day. And that's
Right.
okay because
Right.
you also get the chance to build awareness around it.
Yes.
Catch yourself.
Yes.
I've had times where I'm like, mommy could have handled that better. And I think that's a
Yeah.
powerful lesson to our
Oh
kids to
my
show
God.
them, at the same
Yes.
time. So it's like seeing it in that perspective makes me feel better about like being real.
Yes, absolutely. Because, you're right. There are days where we just won't get it right. And there's
Hmm.
days where we're going to be better at it. It's a
Hmm.
muscle. It's a muscle
Yes.
that we
Yeah.
strengthen all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think just in general, as mothers, we have to people have to give ourselves grace. And
Yeah.
we also have to just, if something's going on in a room, or there's,
Yeah.
somebody, you're feeling judged by someone, you kind of got to go, what's going on for them
Yes.
that they're projecting, because
Yes.
that helps you not take it personally.
Oh my
And that's a
gosh.
huge lesson I learned in business.
Hmm.
Um, because I'm a disruptor, right? I
Yeah.
refer to myself as a money clarity catalyst. And because I create the groundwork to help you see what you're already seeing, what you already know, right? It's like I just
Yes.
kind of help you get there,
Yeah.
through a process, whatever. And I can be off-putting. I don't mean that like I'm like rude or anything like that, but
Yeah.
people either gravitate towards me, or they know I'm going to show them something they're not ready to see. So they
Mhm.
avoid me. And sometimes those who avoid me used to project at me their
Yes.
discomfort, and I used to internalize that. And
Oh,
as a business owner, it
yeah.
created a lot of self-doubt, right? But even
Mhm.
as a person, it created self-doubt,
Yes. Well,
because
yeah.
we're service providers.
Yes.
Our business is our voice, it's our heart, it's our soul, it's our
Yeah.
passion, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I learned to think about like, okay, something might be going on with them. And
Yes.
the other thing I learned is we don't owe everyone proximity. And we can be kind and we
Yeah.
can be cordial, but everyone doesn't get proximity. And
Yeah.
you
I love
have to get more selective with proximity on who you share private things with and who you um let into that inner circle, or who you just want to be around, because the
that. Yeah.
people around us do uplift us
Yes.
or can take
Yes.
us down. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
huge. I mean, that's something on my journey that has been a great lesson as well for me, is like realizing who I want in my circle and in my world and who I don't, including family, because
Yeah.
I feel like there's people out there who are not for you, even though you think that they would be. And it's important to distance yourself in a way that, because again, it's a projection of what they're not willing to take on for themselves, or they're afraid of for themselves. Therefore, they feel like, well, who are you to do this?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
and that's
Yep.
exactly, even like in the work life, if you're working with coworkers, I mean, I have been bullied in the workforce before, and I can't even express how hard it was to go through it. But now that I know what I know, I realize, oh man, she was projecting her own personal, like she was bringing that into the work and just taking it out on me, probably because of my bubbly personality. I probably triggered her so much because I'm just that go-getter. I work hard, I laugh, I enjoy whatever, and it probably drove her crazy because she want people, people who are miserable. Misery loves company, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she tried to bring me down a notch. And for a long time, I let it work until I started realizing what was happening. And like you say, having that perspective change is huge. So if anyone is going through something like that, I just want to speak to you right now. Like, just understand it's not you. It's not
Not
you.
you.
It's 100% them. It's
Yeah.
always a mirror of what they are
Yes.
internalizing themselves.
Yes.
And like I said, that's where haters come in, all that, because,
Yeah.
and so I just think that's amazing for you to step on or talk about, because a lot of people go through this. It's like,
Oh,
golly,
absolutely.
it's like we're still in high school. Come on, people. But
Absolutely.
unfortunately, it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No, I
I
hear
have
you.
to I have to touch on this too,
Mhm.
because you are into the money and the financial
Yes.
and the operational, because I feel like that is crucial for moms who are entrepreneurs, especially like I work with a lot of moms who are just getting started in those
Okay.
early stages. I want to have a conversation around money because
Okay.
this is something that I feel like is what so many of us struggle with. Me personally, money was the biggest thing that I struggled with. My worth,
Hmm.
having my relationship with it,
Yes.
and realizing that I grew up in a very poor-minded,
Hmm.
limited-minded, that
Yep.
I didn't even, it wasn't even mine to have. And so
Right.
just working through that. So what would you say to moms, in the beginning of business, it's the reality is yes, you spend a lot more before you start receiving sometimes, and that's okay. It's part of the process.
Yes.
But like, what would you say to them as far as them navigating that in a healthy way so that they don't
Right.
give up on themselves?
Right. So one of the things is, when you're looking at first, when you're first starting out and you're investing, right? Is it truly an investment? Something that's going to, give you an additional skill, help your business move to the next level. Really sit with the expense. I call it the emotional wave, right? If
Yeah.
something comes up and you get super excited about it right away, give yourself 24 hours. Because if you have to say yes immediately, I've learned it's a hell no, because usually when I said yes, it ended up being an expense that was very hollow for me,
Oh
right?
my
Like,
God.
it could have been a coaching relationship, it could have been
Yeah.
some kind of software program, whatever. So
Yeah.
give yourself, and my wave is 24 hours, but your wave might be an hour, right? But just, if it's not a hell yes,
Mm-hmm.
it's a hell no. Okay. So
I
that's
love
number
that.
one.
Yes. Yes.
Number two is, um, I have on my website, this is a free resource, but it's called the Perfect Pricing Formula. And it actually helps service providers figure out their minimum aligned price. And
Ooh.
what the minimum aligned price does is, if you're charging below it's based on your business expenses, what you need to live well. And I don't mean live extravagantly, but I mean cover your bills, have savings, for yourself personally, have enough money in the business to be able to have that little bit of growth at the beginning. And then it's based on true capacity. And what I mean, and I define what true capacity is, but it's based on true billable hours. Okay.
Mhm.
You come up with your hourly rate. It's probably going to be um, maybe less than you think it's going to be. So let's just say it's $100 an hour. That is the base that if you're charging below that, you are paying your clients to work for them. And that creates imbalance. And the reason why I've created this resource and I have it out there is because I did that for years. I did that for years. I actually was charging, I was giving so much value
Yeah.
and I wasn't even able to, you know, pay my own bills. But having said that, I do not believe in charging by the hour, right?
Yeah.
I believe in that is just, I want everyone to know that's a framework.
Yeah.
That's your baseline.
Yeah.
And then from there, you create your packages. So if you're starting out, you're probably sitting here, well, I don't know how to charge because I don't know, I'm not getting feedback yet or whatever. So it
Hmm.
is okay for a little while
Hmm.
to maybe create it, but I always recommend looking at what transformation you want to provide to your client. Okay.
Hmm.
There's probably a time component to that. There might be a hard cost, like you might be offering them a software or some kind of product, right? It might be a nutritional supplement, whatever it is. Figure out what that costs using the minimum aligned price. And then I want you to multiply that by 2.5. Okay. 2.5. If you don't feel comfortable with 2.5, do 1.5. I don't care. But that's what you're going to go and charge. You're going to, and then when you talk to your client or your prospective client, talk about the transformation. Tell them a story.
Yeah.
Tell them how you're going to get them from A to B,
Yeah.
because people don't want to buy time. They want to buy the transformation or the
Yes.
result that you're offering.
Hmm.
And I learned that the hard way, right? I
Yeah.
was also selling accounting and bookkeeping services at a time when people were like, bookkeepers were looked at not, well, it was very male dominated. The accounting
Uh,
world was very male dominated when I first started out. And then bookkeepers were like secretaries. They were viewed like secretaries and
yes.
they,
Oh my
or like
gosh.
nurses
Yes.
who do,
Yes.
you know,
All.
all respect to doctors, but nurses do a lot.
Yes.
So anyway, so it's kind of like that. And I was taking on the projection
Hmm.
of this isn't worth things. So I was attracting clients
Yeah.
who wanted cheap, easy, whatever, but they wanted you to do the job correctly. So
Mhm.
the advice that I want to leave everyone with is believe in the transformation of what your service is providing. And if you're brand new, do it for friends. Get the confidence, get the feedback, but your friend, get it from someone who's really going to give you that feedback,
Hmm.
or charge a slightly lesser price. The thing is, it has to be balanced. Any kind of relationship with money has to be balanced. There
Yeah.
has to be an equal giving for an equal receiving.
Yes. Okay. I love
The
that. I love
perception,
that.
yeah, the
Hmm.
perception has to be the same. I mean, money started as bartering. you know, think about that. Like, I have apples, you have oranges. Maybe
Yeah.
I gave you 12 apples, but you gave me 20 oranges, because that's where we arrived at.
Yeah.
That was good for you and this was good for me, and was an even exchange.
Hmm.
Bartering has lost that, can lose that even exchange if you're not careful, right?
Yeah.
So and money is just another form of bartering,
I love
in a
that.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Money's
That's
energy. Money's
yes, it
energy.
is. It is. And I, man, it's been so powerful and really realizing that and understanding that, recognizing that and working on that because that's part of what I want to help moms with, right?
Yeah.
This right here, because I see so many moms stuck with the whole pricing.
Yes.
And I've always said same thing, especially when you're first getting started, whatever feels so confident to you that you don't bat. Like this is, I know that I'm almost like giving this away at this price. Like this is, this is
Yeah.
such valuable. I feel so
Yeah.
confident. And when I show up to you and I said, this is how much I'm charging,
Yeah.
and there's no sense of hesitation, no sense of
Right.
doubt,
Right.
that's where you want to start
Yes.
because that right there, because people feel that. Like if you're sitting
Correct.
there kind of being like, it's $3,000, you know what I mean? Like it's 3,000, and feeling that sense of like you're nervous to even, they're
Yeah.
gonna see that even if you just say it's $3,000 or whatever, like people can feel that. And so I want people to feel confident in what they in their worth. And this is why self-worth work is also important. Like
Yeah.
working on ourselves, knowing the value we have to offer,
Yeah.
knowing who we are and being grounded in that. Like I want my kids, I think about that with my kids. Like I just want them to be grounded in who they
Yeah.
are so that they don't let the world tell them who they have to be. And so that's what I'm passionate about for everyone that comes in my world.
So money problems are rarely just math problems.
Yeah, oh, I like
Okay. So
that.
it
Yeah.
is like you talked about value perception, boundaries, pricing discomfort, leadership identity,
Hmm.
undercharging, exhaustion, nervous system relationship to money, right? So I do have a book called, and this is for those new moms starting
Yeah.
out in their business. It's called The Money Conversation.
Oh,
Um,
I love that.
speak, I always forget this. Speak the truth, set the standard, get paid without apology. And it is all about how to talk about it. It's the conversation, right? Because
Hmm.
in the conversation is where we want to be confident, right? Because
Yes.
if you state your rate, I'm, whatever, you just go through whatever it is and you say, it's going to be $3,000. When you say it with confidence, people perceive, oh, she's been here before. She knows what she's doing.
Hmm.
I'm in good hands. So the book gives you the container, right? It gives you the
Ah,
scripts.
yeah.
And this book came out of my own lived experience of struggling with my pricing. And I created the container. And this is what I've learned. It's like, yes, mindset is a part of this. But if you don't have a process to support you,
Hmm.
mindset's not going to get you there alone. Okay. And if money management were the problem, all these business, everyone's business would be fixed. So we need the mindset, but
Yeah.
we also need the process to follow. And in the book, you'll get scripts and you'll get process. And I promise you that if you use it and you practice it, you're still going to feel a little nervous, but you're going to strengthen that muscle.
Yeah.
And for me personally, the key is creating the structure
Hmm.
so that I can let the structure support me as opposed to me and my nervous system holding it up.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh my God, that's so powerful. So yeah, definitely go grab a copy of that book. That's actually so important for this journey. And this is something I'm like, again, I am so excited about that I've been working in. I think by the time this episode releases, it will be open, officially launched. And I'm excited because this is what I believe in right here is that first and foremost, like the identity and mindset is a huge, crucial piece of work while you're taking action towards the aligned goals of your vision. And so it's like I have a process like that of helping moms to really do that work on themselves and then start
Mhm.
taking like baby steps towards like the what's
Right.
going to get them towards their vision sooner and get the results they want. But without that piece though of the mindset and the identity work, I feel like strategy is one thing, but like I have been there where I got all the amazing like
Yeah.
advice, business advice, strategy, but because I didn't
Right.
have really the beliefs behind me and the true identity behind me of like who I really was and what I was offering, it's like I totally, yeah, like sabotaged my ability to attract the right people, like you say, because you can attract clients, but it doesn't mean that they're the right clients. And I've had that experience
Absolutely.
too, where it's like they didn't
Absolutely.
really follow through. They weren't really serious about the change and the transformation. And I've
Correct.
realized for myself, like I want those who are truly ready and also about
Yeah.
supporting one another. That's the
You,
people I want to surround myself with.
yeah. And you said something I want to highlight here. Your boundary got super strong around who you work with and how they need to show up. And
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's hard when you're first starting out because
Yeah.
you get excited. Somebody wants to work with you,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but you are interviewing them as a fit just as much as they're interviewing you. And
Yes.
okay, what I would say to you is experiment at the beginning. Take on, because
Mm-hmm.
your body's going to know. Like, I'm going to tell you, like, your body's going to give you that signal, like, oh, this may not be so kosher. But go through the process and then evaluate what works and evaluate what doesn't work, because that's the
Yeah.
only way you're going to know. You do need that experience.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopeful though that if you're paying attention from the beginning, that you won't go through the years of bad clients and that kind of stuff,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
But it's the awareness, and it's
Yeah.
just sitting down and looking at that. Yeah,
Exactly. But
absolutely.
I feel like it's such an important part of the process. Like I love this example. I want to share this story. This woman was sharing about how she had this. consultation scheduled, and she went through all the processes of preparing for it and really decluttering her mind and really getting ready and excited to show up for this person, and the person was a no-show, and she was a little devastated. And yet I really am grateful for the comments that came in, because, and this is how I saw it too, whenever as I was reading it, I was like, but you still got the experience of preparing for a consultation, of working on yourself and
Yeah.
making sure that you were grounded and ready for her. Just
Right.
because she wasn't ready to show up for that
Right.
doesn't, it doesn't take away from what you just did for yourself as an
Correct.
entrepreneur, as a coach, as a person who
Yeah.
will be ready the next time that
Yes.
person, whoever does show up, who's meant for you, you've now gotten practiced. And
Right.
that's how I look at it with every little
Yeah.
thing. Even when you do those workshops, right? Like I always talk about that with, like, people who like get do all this work. Because trust me, I've been there, where I put in so much time and effort and excitedness into a workshop or something, and then only a couple people show up or whatever. But I don't care. I still show up to that, even if no one shows up. And like, I give it. I
Yeah.
teach, I practice, I show up with the confidence and as if there's 100 people in that room, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Because at the end of the day, I want to be so ready that
Yeah.
when the time comes for those people to show up in that room with me, I'm not for the first time being like, oh goodness, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's a little
No,
scary
I
when it
hear
first
you.
starts happening, when people do start showing up to
Yeah.
your lives or to your stuff. And so I always say, hey, don't beat yourself up. That is
No.
totally, that actually shows that you're on the right path, because you're, you
Yes.
know what I mean? Even when you get those unsubscribe notifications in your email list, like I used to, that used to beat me up at first. Now I'm like, okay, that's just making more space for who's meant for me. Because I only want
Exactly.
those, again, who are
Yes.
ready to thrive, who wants to rise
Yes.
together, who wants to support each other, who's
Yeah.
ready to take action. So the
Yes.
more I get those, I'm like, okay, that's good. That maybe they got what they needed and they're ready to move on. That's totally fine. Wishing, always wishing everyone the best.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to, I wanted to touch on that for people, because this is what I teach and this is what I'm
Yeah.
about, because Lord knows I'm living it.
Yeah.
I
No,
get it
that's
so much.
fantastic. And the thing is, I have a saying, everything for my good, everything always works out,
Yeah.
everything for my good.
Yes, that's what, yeah.
And, and the thing is, you're right, that woman, she got so much good out of that. And I think because she was so prepared,
Mhm.
the signal was sent and that person was not ready.
Yeah.
So it was not a reflection. She
Mhm.
actually clarified the field. That's the way I
Yes.
look at it.
Ooh, I love that. That's that energy. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Because everything is energy. So
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. And like I said, I just thought, I saw that the other day and I thought that was very powerful and an experience. And I hope
Yeah.
she took in what people were sharing with her
Yeah.
to heart, because it's easy to look at that and
Of
don't get me wrong,
course.
feel the feelings. I get it. Feel disappointed.
Yeah.
That's totally normal. And actually, I've been
Absolutely.
learning that a lot, feeling the feelings, how powerful that is. It's uncomfortable at first, but I tell you, it's very powerful. So don't be
It is.
afraid. Feel the feelings, and but then let it move, like move
Yes.
forward, and
Yes.
then you feel so like the weight's lifted, and then you
Hmm.
feel ready for what's next, and you can move forward instead of sitting in
Yeah.
it and resisting it, where it's always going
Right.
to keep creeping back in. So it's a bit
Yes.
powerful.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Linda, I have to ask, if someone is listening to you, I know I'm definitely going to share about your book. I want anyone who's listening, I think that's a fantastic place, especially if you're just getting started, to
Yeah.
check that out. But if they wanted to work with you,
Yeah.
where would be the
So,
best place for them to find you? And tell
so
us a
the
little bit
first,
about what that looks like. Yeah.
oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure. So I do have a landing page for the book called moneyconversation.net.
Hmm?
And if you go there, you can get a free chapter,
Oh,
and
that's
start there. But if someone is interested in working with me, they can go to my website, SumSolutions.com. And you can check out the resources. I have some free resources there. And I work with folks in a variety of ways, right? We have high-end consulting services, where my company offers financial architecture.
oh,
So we work with large businesses where we're helping them figure out, why their numbers aren't jiving. Like they may have a lot of systems, and what happened is they grew really fast and their financial systems didn't catch up.
okay.
But I don't want people to be intimidated by that, because I'm in the process of creating. And if you're having trouble and you're newer in business, like you're a startup or you're newer in business and you're just not sure what your financial system should look like, set up a time with me. Let's set up a discovery call because I am looking to create some offerings in that space
Okay.
in the coming, and I would love to help you, number one, but the other thing is would love to just hear what's going on so that I can create the right solutions.
Oh,
So if someone's interested in that, that's my go to my website. There's a way to book a discovery call on there or email us
yeah.
and we'll set up a time to talk because
Yeah.
hearing the real life challenges that, I love teaching people how to fish. And if we can get clear about our money, right? And
Yeah.
every stage of business has a different money clarity that they need. And I will right size you, meaning sometimes people try in the financial field, try to oversell you. It's about simplicity and what works for you. So
Oh, that's beautiful, Linda. That's amazing. I mean, that's so needed. And I mean, especially in the beginning, so many people are taking chances, taking risk. And I
yeah,
love what you said earlier about you know, the giving yourself time to think about something. Because I've had situations where that is a strategy, by the way. That is a sales strategy of making you feel like you have to say yes on this call or
yes,
else.
yes,
And I have fallen for that, and it was an awful experience because I felt that pressure, and then but I was so like appealed by the way
yeah,
they promised these results that I
yeah,
jumped on it because I got this fear that if I
right,
didn't do this, then oh my God, I'm gonna miss out,
yeah,
and then nothing would come from it because you're right, it wasn't a hell yes, and I've
right,
learned that to discern that because anyone who tells you you have to make the decision before the end of the call, again, that's just a strategy, and it is not,
right,
in my opinion, it's not what I'm about. Like I said,
yeah,
when I do my launches, like it's pretty much like weeks of time for you to make a decision
mhm,
because I want someone to be like you say, a hell yes. I'm
yes,
not, because at the end of the day, it's you. This is for
right,
you. You're the one taking the
yeah,
action. You're the one doing all things. I'm providing the guidance and the
right,
systems and the things for you, and I'm providing the service of coaching you and being that cheerleader and that support for you. But at the end of the day, you have to show up for it.
yeah,
Not me, you
yeah,
know what I mean? So it's like I
absolutely,
want people who are like, I want to turn my life around and I want to follow this girl. Like I love her energy. Want to be in her world because I feel like she's the
yeah,
right person to
right,
push me and get me out of my comfort zone, to get me
yes,
going and following through. Like
yeah,
that's the kind of people I want to work with. So again, I just
yeah,
wanted to put that out there because I feel like this is something that so many people get like screwed
right,
over almost in the
yes,
beginning.
oh, absolutely,
Because you are vulnerable. You don't really
mhm.
know until you know.
You don't really know until you know. And it's so funny. This morning I'm watching Good Morning America, and I am not a race car fan at all, but Kyle Busch
Oh
passed
yeah.
away.
I know. We were just with
But the way they talked about
Yep.
they had two fellow racers
Yes.
come on and talk about it. And one is like, we weren't friends, but he pushed me to be a better driver. They both said that. One was more friendly with I guess I don't know Kyle Busch other than
Yeah.
he was a car
Race.
driver, but evidently
Yeah.
he was a difficult personality as a
Oh.
friend, but as someone in your corner
Yeah.
helping you be a better driver. And that's what I'm hearing you say. That's the reason
Oh,
why I brought that up, because you're holding that container for them and
yeah,
you're helping them move into their vision. Like you're helping them hold their vision for themselves,
exactly.
and just saying you can, holding the space that you can do it. And sometimes that's exactly what we need.
Yeah,
Exactly what we need. Yeah.
exactly. And because I know for me, it's been, of all the things I've invested in, it's been
Yeah.
those spaces where it's like,
Yes.
first of all, consistency of like, I get to show up anytime. I always
Yes.
have a place to return to. I always have these courses to return to, like, no matter where I'm at my journey, because I know I evolve in different ways. So sometimes
Of
the
course.
same thing I've watched, I can go back and watch it and I'm like, I didn't get that the first time. You know what I mean? So there's power
Yes.
in that. And so
Yes.
I always encourage people to find that person that really stands out and resonates with you. Because for
Mhm.
me, that's been a game changer with my journey. Is when I met there's certain people that have just, I could feel it in my soul almost, like when I was in their room with them or in the energy around them.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's my person. And I was
Yeah.
like, I was determined, whatever I could get into. I mean, I can't do all the things. It's okay
Right.
because I
Right.
eventually will. That's on my vision board with certain things. I'm like, okay, I'm going to definitely go to this one day or I'm going to do this one day. But, I honor where I'm at too. In the fact that
Mhm.
I do what feels right, what I know I can do, and I can move
Yeah.
forward, but I do it because I'm ready for that next step. And that's
Yeah.
what I want. I want people to come along with me on that
Yeah.
journey.
So yeah, and then another mantra I used to have, my time is now and I'm ready for the next step.
Ooh, I love that. I
That
love
would be the
that.
that would be the I would leave that with that is the thing I will say.
Well, there you go. You just answered like the last thing I always open the floor to. So I do want people to sit with that. That's very powerful. And
Yeah.
Linda, I want to say you're amazing. Thank you
Thank you. I
so
loved
much.
our conversation.
I did
We
too.
had a great conversation.
We
Yes.
sure did. I can't wait. I cannot wait to share this. And again, I appreciate you, and I look forward to seeing all that you accomplish because you're doing amazing things.
Same thing. Thank you,
Thank you.
Mary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe below, follow along, and always leave a comment. Tell me what was your favorite takeaway. What are some things that are coming up for you through these conversations? I really love to hear from my listeners and know that I'm always here for you. If anyone listening is ready to take action and really follow through and implement the goals that you set out for, as well as work on that mindset and really step into your full potential and the CEO of your life, then I invite you, schedule your free 1 hour limitless mom strategy call with me while they're available. And let's explore where you are, where you want to be, and how we can bridge that gap together. I can't thank you all enough for tuning in each week. Always remember, until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and keep believing in everything that is available for you, mama. You are worthy, you deserve it, and I'm so grateful to be walking this journey alongside you. Much love.